Hi everyone, good evening. I hope I am audible and my screen is visible. There was some issue with the camera, that's why I had to delay the start by a few minutes, but I think everything is fine now. So just confirm once if I'm audible and the screen is visible, and then we can get going with the session. I'll also start my chat so that I can read the comments that all of you are going to post. I can. All right, perfect. So I think everything is fine, everything is in order, and we can get going with the session. So before we start, and by the time some people join, there is one small announcement. Couple of announcements are there. So one is regarding the video that we have released today. So should you be going for coaching or should you do preparation on your own? So that is basically the video that we have put up today. So have a look at it in case you are confused, and if some people are telling you that you have to join an institute अगर कैट में अच्छा स्कोर करना है तो, and some people are telling you कि नहीं करना चाहिए, खुद से भी कर सकते हैं. So if you are conflicted with that kind of an advice or that kind of advice, I would suggest that you have a look at the video. I have tried to put forth some logical counters for both things, and I'm sure you'll be able to make that decision once you have gone through that particular video. The other thing that I wanted to talk about before we start with the session is regarding this Sunday's special session. So, uh, over the last 3 weeks or so, we have done a couple of sessions on Sundays. And there was one session which was an AMA session, Ask Me Anything session, wherein we received a lot of questions from all of you. You had a lot of queries regarding your profile, score, cutoffs, institutes, and so on. So, wo queries we addressed in one session. And a couple of weeks back, we did a session on functions and modulus, right? So functions, graphs, modulus, तो वो वाले इस पे हमने छोटा सा एक सेशन किया था. काफी बड़ा सेशन था. It was a 2 hour session, almost a 2 hour session. So those of you who are new to the channel and haven't watched these two sessions, have a look at those. I think you'll be able to find them very easily under the live sessions that are there, या फिर in terms of the CAT 24 preparation playlist. तो वहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे. Have a look at those two sessions. And regarding this Sunday, there is a special session that is going to happen again from a topic that is very popular at the CAT and something that a lot of people have trouble associating with. So we will release the session details on Friday, I believe, but Sunday morning around 11 a.m. Keep yourself free because it is going to be one of the most important sessions for you, especially if you're not good at quant. So quant session, that is the only spoiler I'm giving away. But otherwise, it's a surprise session for all of you, for all the followers, all the subscribers who are there. सबके लिए एक छोटा सा सरप्राइज सेशन हम लोग रखेंगे एंड डेफिनेटली इट विल बेनिफिशियल टू यू. वो आई कैन ऑलमोस्ट वाउच फॉर इट कि एवरीबody will benefit from that. ठीक है. So let's get going with today's session. So today is the 22nd daily drill that we have, and today's topic is algebra. Algebra, as you know, is a very important topic purely from the perspective of CAT 2023 as well, because CAT 23 में बहुत सारे difficult questions थे, and those were primarily from algebra. So that was basically the context. So algebra in itself is a very interesting area, is a very interesting area, but then again there could be complexities that could come. We have already done one or two daily drills on algebra. So this is not alien territory for most of us. I have again tried to keep the level easy to moderate today. These are all CAT questions, so don't worry about the level of difficulty. ये सारे के सारे CAT questions हैं, कोई भी question out of place नहीं है. So that way you should be able to derive value from this session, right? So let's get going with the first question that we have. We have 10 questions in total. We'll try to increase the pace of our solving as we progress because now we have been through what 3 weeks of daily drills, 4 weeks of daily drills rather. So now is the time to increase our pace by a bit. तो एक बार देख लेना question. I'll just stay on this screen for another 45 seconds and then we will start with the question. So 8:12 को we will start with the solution to this one. तब तक have a look at this particular question that exists. I'll just check once if everything is fine. Yeah, the screen seems could be slightly better. Right, just give me a second. I just align this properly. think this is good to go. I'll just shift. Perfect. Arkodeep, तो yes, that is the answer. Very, very, very easy question to start with. एकदम warm up question है. So let's start with this one. F of A into B is F of A multiplied by F of B for all positive integers A and B. So again, you have to understand what is F of A, what is F of B. For those of you who do not understand functions at all, एक बहुत ही simple तरीका है इसको समझने का. F of something. अगर जैसे ही मैं ये चीज बोलता हूँ ना, it basically means that we are putting the value A in a machine, and that machine will give you some output. It's like putting a plate of food in the microwave. अगर उसको गर्म करेंगे तो definitely it will be heated and will come out, right? So whatever you put in the microwave will try to heat it. That's it. So, right? Similarly, if you put something in the refrigerator, it will cool it and give it back to you. So यहाँ पे भी ऐसे ही है. अगर हम लोग a डालते हैं तो the machine will convert it into f of a and give it to you. ये है. Similarly, अगर same machine में b डाल देंगे तो f of b मिलेगा. Same machine में a into b डाल देंगे तो f of a b मिलेगा. But this machine will tell you that f of ab जो है ना, it is equal to f of a multiplied by f of b. That's it. Now we have to figure out what is the largest possible value of f of 1. Now one thing we can do in this particular context is यहाँ पे f of a into b जो है ना, यहाँ पे let's say for example हम लोग लेते हैं a equal to 1. Now why am I doing this? Purely because I need to have an f of 1 somewhere ना. अगर वो होगा तो ही मैं उसका वैल्यू निकाल पाऊंगा. If it is not there in the equation at all, how am I supposed to find the value of f of 1? तो यहाँ पे a को 1 डाल देते हैं. तो यहाँ पे b into 1 will be f of b itself. F of a will be f of 1 and f of b will be as it is. अभी अगर हम ये पूरे टर्म को लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में लेके जाते हैं तो यू आर गोइंग टू गेट f of b which will be a common term into 1 minus f of 1 equal to 0. ये होगा. Now if the product of two things is equal to 0, at least one of the two things has to be equal to 0. नहीं तो मुझे 0 मिल ही नहीं सकता. So I can say that either f of b will be equal to 0, राइट. एफ ऑफ बी विल बी इक्वल टू जीरो. जिसका मतलब क्या हो गया? एफ ऑफ बी इक्वल टू जीरो का मतलब क्या हो गया? आई पुट एनी वैल्यू ऑफ बी, द मशीन इज गोइंग टू गिव मी जीरो एज द आउटपुट. You put b equal to 1, the machine will give me 0 as the output. You put b equal to 100, the machine will give me 0 as the output. It's the stupidest machine ever. Whatever you tell the machine will say 0. My answer is 0 bata degi machine. ठीक है? And that's what it means, this part means. So f of b equal to 0 is one possibility. The other possibility is 1 minus f of 1 equals 0 or f of 1 equals 1. So either of these two is going to be true. Now if I'm saying that f of b equal to 0, what does this mean? F of b equal to 0 means मैं कोई भी वैल्यू डालू मेरे को 0 मिलेगा. So even if I put 1, in this case it will be equal to 0. So f of 1 will either be equal to 0 or f of 1 will be equal to 1. What is the largest possible value of f of 1 among these two or between these two? It is going to be 1. So the correct answer here is 1. It's a theta question. You have to enter 1 as your answer and you should be all right. And I also hope all of you are paying attention to the screen and are also solving along as we progress. So that will basically help you. And if you want to take it in the form of a test, we have it on the portal already. So एक बार वो test भी देख के you can solve it on your own. Right? We'll move on to the second one. एक बार देख लेना इसको. Very interesting question that we have here, and see if you are able to get through this. I'll give you 1 minute to think about this and then we'll start with the solution. So around 8, 16, 30, we will start with the solutions. I'll give you exactly 1 minute to think about this. And if you want more time, you can pause the video and try it out on your own. And आगे जाके अगर if you have any doubts in terms of any question that you're not being able to figure out, let me know in the chat and I'll try to help you understand it in a better manner. Right? So another 40 seconds and we start with the solution. So have a look at this one and then we look at the solution for this. Yeah. So there are broadly two ways to think about this particular question. And excuse the integration of x. It's not integration of x. It is function. So f of x is what we are talking about here. So that is what it should be. But I'm assuming that you figured it out by now because cat does not test integration, derivatives, ये सारे concepts cat में test नहीं होते. So don't worry about it. Right? Uh, uh, yeah, okay, all right. So let's look at this one. So there are two broad ways of solving this particular question. एक तरीका मैं बताता हूँ, the shortcut which I'll talk about, या प्रद्युम्न, your answer is correct. The shortcut is what I will talk about first. अब यहाँ पे as soon as people look at f of x, g of x, f of x plus g of x, f of x plus g of x का modulus and so on and so forth, people are going to get slightly scared of this particular question. But वो नहीं करना है. Look at the options. X has to be between 2.5 and 3.5. X has to be less than or equal to 2.5, or x has to be greater than or equal to 3.5. X has to be less than 2.5, or x has to be greater than or equal to 3.5. And finally, x has to be between 2.5 and 3.5 with the limits being inclusive. ठीक है, तो मुझे करना क्या है? आई वॉन्ट टू फिगर आउट वेदर ये 2.5 और 3.5 के बीच में आता है कि नहीं आता है. दैट इज माई फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. राइट. व्हाट इज वन नंबर दैट यू कैन थिंक ऑफ विच इज बिटवीन 2.5 एंड 3.5? 3 है ना. तो x की जगह पे 3 डाल के देख लो व्हाट हैपेंस. Now if you put x equal to 3, what is going to be the value of f of x? 2 3s are 6, minus 5 1 आ जाएगा. What is going to be the value of g of x? 7 minus 2 into 3, that is 6, so 7 minus 6 फिर से 1 आ जाएगा. What is the value of mod of f of x plus g of x? Mod of 1 plus 1, mod of 2, तो ये बन जाएगा 2. What about mod of f of x will be 1, mod of g of x will be 1. ये प्लस कर देंगे तो ये दोनों इक्वल हो जाएंगे. So I know for sure that f of 3 is consistent with the data. This is what I know. f of 3 is definitely consistent with the data. तो मैं ये नहीं बोल सकता कि f of 3 मेरे solution set में होगा ही नहीं. f of 3 has to be a part of my solution set. So this option is out. Here we are saying that it has to be less than 2.5 or greater than 3.5. But no, I know that it works for 3 as well. Similarly, this one is also out. Less than 2.5, greater than equal to 3.5. Now, I am torn between these two options, A and D. I need to figure out whether 2.5 or 3.5 will be a part of my solution set or not. As simple as that. Now let's put f of x or x equal to 2.5 डाल देते हैं and let's see what happens. अगर 2.5 डाल देते हैं, f of x will be 2 into 2.5, मतलब 5 minus 5, that will be 0. So f of x will be 0 in this case. अगर मैं x को 2.5 डालता हूं तो what about g of x or g of 2.5? 2 into 2.5 is 5. 7 minus 5 will be 2. So g of x will be equal to 2. अब यहाँ पे क्या होगा? f of x plus g of x will be 0 plus 2, that is 2. 2 का modulus will again be 2. f of x का modulus will be 0. g of x का modulus will be 2. Again it is consistent. So I know that 2.5 will also work. अगर 2.5 काम कर रहा है तो definitely this should be my answer. So in this kind of a scenario, you can plug in values that are sort of those kind of values that will eliminate options easily. तो ऐसे अगर सॉल्व करोगे तो लाइफ विल बिकम स्लाइटली इजियर इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस. ठीक है, तो ये वाला एक हमको ध्यान में रखना है इफ वी आर एबल टू डू दिस करेक्टली. और the other more technical textbook way of doing things is just substitute the values of f of x plus g of x from these and try to figure out what happens. तो अब यहाँ पे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में मॉड्यूलस क्या बनेगा? f of x plus g of x which is 2x minus 5 plus 7 minus 2x. So I'll just write it here, 2x minus 5 plus 7 minus 2x. This will be equal to mod of 2x minus 5 plus mod of 7 minus 2x. अब इसका वैल्यू क्या आएगा? 2x will get cancelled out. 7 minus 5 will be 2. Mod of 2 will be 2 itself. So this 2 will be nothing but mod of 2x minus 5 plus mod of 7 minus 2x. ये बनेगा हमारे पास. तो ये दो टर्म्स को अगर हम ऐड करेंगे तो हमको मिलेगा आंसर 2. ठीक है. Now how do we figure out that this will help us in this particular context? Now we know for sure that Rushabh, no, C is not the answer for this one. The answer is D. And we can do it using the substitution method that I just spoke about. तो उससे ये वाला easily बन सकता है, right? The other thing that we are trying to do in this particular case is these two should add up to 2, right? ये दोनों मिलके 2 होने चाहिए. But you have to understand, appreciate one small thing in this particular context. अब इसमें appreciate क्या करना है अपने को? ये दोनों के बीच का गैप भी तो 2 ही है ना, right? 2x minus 5 एंड 7 माइनस 2x और 2x माइनस 7 जो भी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हम लेंगे, द गैप बिटवीन दीज टू इज ऑल्सो इक्वल टू 2, राइट? तो अगर गैप इक्वल टू 2 है तो व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स आर पॉसिबल? So we can say in this particular context that I need to have two positive values that will add up to 2. That is what we are trying to say. क्योंकि मॉड्यूलस ऑफ 2x माइनस वाई हैज टू बी पॉजिटिव, मॉड्यूलस ऑफ 7 माइनस 2x हैज टू बी नॉन नेगेटिव रादर, ठीक है? तो नॉन नेगेटिव होना चाहिए ये दोनों को, अगर बिकॉज एडिशन करके पॉजिटिव नंबर चाहिए तो। सो आई कैन से फॉर श्योर दैट 2x माइनस 5 का जो मॉड्यूलस है दैट विल बी ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 0, 2x माइनस 5 विल बी ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 0, और x विल बी ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 5/2। Similarly, 7 minus 2x जो है, if that is greater than or equal to 0, then we'll get 7 to be greater than or equal to 2x or x to be less than or equal to 7/2. And that is basically how these two terms will get satisfied in this particular expression. तो यहाँ पे अगर इसका लॉ, इसका मॉड्यूलस दैट इज ट्रू हैज टू बी ट्रू, द सम ऑफ दीज टू मॉड्यूलस हैज टू बी इक्वल टू 2, which basically means that 2x minus 5 का जो मॉड्यूलस लेंगे that has to be a positive number, right? So यहाँ पे again what you can do in this case is you can substitute यहाँ पे, if that is too difficult for you to understand, उसको substitute भी कर सकते हैं। Another way of thinking about this is what we had discussed in the functions and graphs wala session. So यहाँ पे again we are trying to say that one person is present at 5/2, one person is present at 7/2, and both of them have to meet such that cumulatively they are traveling 2 units का distance. बट ये दोनों के बीच का गैप कितना है? 1 यूनिट है ना? सो देन बेसिकली हाउ विल दे बी एबल टू क्यूमुलेटिवली ट्रैवल दीस मेनी यूनिट्स? दैट इज अगेन अ क्वेश्चन। तो इसका डिस्टेंस प्लस इसका डिस्टेंस शुड बी 2 यूनिट्स। सो अगेन दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू कैन थिंक अबाउट, बट देन अगेन इट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, इतना कॉम्प्लिकेट करने का जरूरत ही नहीं है क्वेश्चन को। यू कैन सिंपली प्लग इन वैल्यूज एंड यू कैन फिगर इट आउट, शुड नॉट बी अ प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल। तो इजीली यू शुड बी एबल टू मैनेज दिस, ठीक है? आई होप एटलीस्ट द फर्स्ट मेथड इज क्लियर, फॉरगेट अबाउट दिस वन। ये पूरा जो है ना ज्ञान, ये सब छोड़ दो, इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड ऑनेस्टली। ये वाला पार्ट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, यू कैन फॉरगेट अबाउट दिस नाइसली, यू कैन जस्ट पे अटेंशन टू दिस एंड यू कैन फिनिश दिस, ठीक है? सो वैल्यूज प्लग इन करके यू कैन इजीली मैनेज। आई शो द थर्ड क्वेश्चन। Till that time, people who have not understood the second question can think about it. I'll be on this slide for 1 minute. एक बार सोच लेना, very easy question. Think about this one, and I think you should be able to manage it well. Yeah. And for those of you who are wondering why are 5/2 and 7/2 that important in the previous question, it's basically because 2x minus 5 है and 7 minus 2x. So because of that, 2x minus 5 जब 0 बनता है तब x will be 5/2, 7 minus 2x जब 0 बनेगा तब x will be 7/2, 3.5. So that's why these two terms are more important. And that is basically why you have to look at the behavior around these two terms. So if you look at numbers that are less than 2.5, अगर 2.5 से कम नंबर है तो f of x नेगेटिव बन जाएगा, ठीक है? एंड अगर 3.5 से बड़ा नंबर है तो फिर g of x नेगेटिव बन जाएगा। दैट्स व्हाई these assume importance. If both of them are between these two, then you will be able to get these two as 1 plus 1 and you will be able to manage. Yeah, Arkodipto, I think you are right. Pradyumna, I think you are right. Hercules boy, namaste. I am fine. You are currently in class 10. You are too early for cat, but I hope you are able to enjoy this session. So if you have nothing better to do, it's okay. If you have nothing better to do and you can make sense of it, I'll be very happy. कैट के अंदर 10th स्टैंडर्ड का ही मैथ्स आता है। but I'm very interested in how you stumbled upon this channel. Okay. So let's look at this one. F of x is the minimum of 2x square and 52 minus 5x, where x is any positive real number. Then the maximum possible value of f of x is what? Now, one thing you have to understand, see, CAT के अंदर one thing you have to understand is they will not make questions that are incredibly difficult for you. तो यहाँ पे quadratic है, यहाँ पे एक linear है. Whenever you look at any quadratic and any linear, so let's say for example ये quadratic equation है और एक linear equation, they will generally cut at these 2 points or something, right? NVM, yes, correct. The answer is right. They will cut this quadratic expression ka line at these 2 points. Now we have to understand what exactly is happening in this case. अब minimum पूछा गया है. Now if I look at this point, let's say ये point पे इसमें और इसमें minimum कौन सा वाला है? ये वाला minimum है. ये वाले point पे this and this is the minimum. ऐसे करते करते ये वाला एक point आता है जहां पे this is the minimum value. फिर क्या होगा? आगे जाके लाइन विल बी द लार्जर वैल्यू एंड दिस वन विल बी द मिनिमम वैल्यू. तो द मिनिमम वैल्यू का अगर मेरे को पूरा का पूरा एक सीक्वेंस बनाना है, एक लोकस बनाना है, इट विल बेसिकली बी दिस वन एंड दिस वन, राइट? सो दिस इज बेसिकली व्हाट द मिनिमा विल लुक लाइक. Now ये वाले केस, I'm not saying it will look like this in every context. I'm just saying that it will look like something like this. Now what I'm trying to say here is ये सब करने का जरूरत नहीं है. कैट के अंदर they will not expect you to be able to solve these kind of things. Local maximum बताओ, local minimum और ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. So don't worry about it. Here if you plot these two, चलो if you want to plot it. Now what will happen in this context? 2x square है. If y equals x square तो ऐसे कुछ बनेगा ग्राफ. 2x square में it will be slightly steeper. तो ऐसे कुछ तो ग्राफ बनेगा. Also 52 minus 5x. y equals 52 minus 5x. ठीक है. तो 52 minus 5x कैसे बनाना है? If you get 2 points, you will be able to manage it well. Let's say for example, if x is equal to 0, then y will be equal to 52. So x अगर 0 है, तो y यहाँ पे 52 हो जाएगा. तो 0, 52 is one point on this line. And if y is equal to 0, then x will be equal to 52 divided by 5, which is 10.4 आएगा. Right? So यहाँ पे कुछ तो एक 10.4 वाला नंबर. 10.4, 0. I'm just showing it to represent this. तो ऐसे कुछ तो लाइन ड्रॉ होना चाहिए. Now again, if you apply the same logic, minima क्या होगा? It will basically be, I'll just change the ink. It will essentially be one of these points, or it will become like this. ठीक है. मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल वैल्यू ऑफ एफ ऑफ एक्स होना चाहिए एंड मिनिमा पूछा है अपने को, राइट? सो समथिंग लाइक दिस विल हैपन एंड वी हैव टू फिगर आउट वेयर इज इट दैट दीज टू बिकम इक्वल. दैट इज एसेंशियली समथिंग दैट इज गोइंग टू बी आवर आंसर, राइट? क्योंकि ये इसका स्लोप वगैरह ऐसे टेढ़ा होगा, दे विल नॉट मीट एट ऑल एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स विल हैपन. बट फॉर ऑल प्रैक्टिकल पर्पसेस दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट वी आर लुकिंग एट. कैट के अंदर इतना दिमाग लगाने का जरूरत नहीं है. This is if you are writing a descriptive test, but thankfully CAT is an objective test. You can simply look at this question and try to equate 2x square equals 52 minus 5x. ठीक है? If you are able to do this, you should be able to answer this question. अभी यहाँ पे हम करेंगे 2x square plus 5x. Aditya, I'll come to your question in a bit. I'll just finish this, then I'll address your question. ठीक है? 2x square plus 5x minus 52. Now either you have an instinct to figure out the roots of this quadratic equation, or you should be able to put it in that big expression that you have, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Either you should be able to put a, b, c in this, or you should be able to factorize. Generally at this level factorization should be fine. So 2 and minus 52 को multiply करना है पहले तो मेरे को मिलेगा -104. I need to split 104 और -104 into 2 parts such that उनका जो sum होगा ना वो 5 होगा. Sum of these two will be equal to 5. That is what we are looking at here. Fine. Sum should be equal to 5 in this context. Now, this 104 के अगर factors पता है तो that makes your life easier. So the answer here will be 13 and 8. अब 5 मेरे को addition चाहिए यहाँ पे तो 13 and minus 8 होगा. So we can write this as 2x square plus 13x minus 8x minus 52 equal to 0. You can say x into 2x plus 13 minus 4 into 2x plus 13 equals 0. X minus 4 into 2x plus 13 equals 0. या तो x होगा 4 या तो x होगा -13/2. वी हैव बीन टोल्ड दैट x इज एनी पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर. तो अब यहाँ पे आई नीड नॉट लुक एट ऑल दीज वैल्यूज दैट एग्जिस्ट. पॉजिटिव है ना, तो आई एम ओनली सपोज टू लुक एट दिस पार्ट ऑफ द मिनिमा वाला पार्ट. एंड वहां पे मैं क्या बोला, मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल वैल्यू ऑफ एफ ऑफ एक्स विल नाउ बी इक्वल टू 4, क्योंकि -13/2 इज अ नेगेटिव टर्म. ठीक है. सो x should be equal to 4 in this context, but the question is not what is the value of x. The question is what is the maximum value of f of x. तो यहाँ पे x के जगह पे 4 को सब्सटीट्यूट करना है. मिनिमम ऑफ 2 into 4 square, 2 into 16, that is 32. यहाँ पे करेंगे तो भी सेम चीज मिलेगा. 5 4s are 20, 52 minus 20 is 32. So the correct answer here is 32. The maximum possible value of f of x for this particular, in this particular context, should be manageable. ठीक है. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. It's a very interesting question. See, बहुत बार ना लोग, a lot of people will teach you कि इसको ऐसे कर लो करके. They will just tell you equate कर दो, your answer will come. Which is true. I'm not denying that fact. I'm not debating कि ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए करके. But why should you equate those two? The answer is this graph. तो ये वाला ग्राफ जो कर्व है दैट इज 2x स्क्वायर, एंड दिस लाइन दैट इज देयर दैट इज 52 माइनस 5x. ये कर्व हमारा, ये इंटरसेक्शन मेरे को देखना है. ऑल्सो आई नो दैट x हैज टू बी अ पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर, विच मीन्स दैट x जो होगा ना वो यही कंसिडरेशन सेट में से आएगा. सो दिस इज बेसिकली द पॉइंट दैट आई एम लुकिंग एट. ये पॉइंट कहां पे आता है? व्हेन दीज टू कर्व्स इंटरसेक्ट, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी आर इक्वेटिंग them. नहीं तो हम लोग इक्वेट नहीं करते. ठीक है. So I hope this is clear. Think about it, look at it once more. If there is any doubt in this one, let me know. I'll just show you this question. So have a look at this. It's a nice, easy, manageable question. And then we will have a look at the solution. So Aditya, again, if you don't understand maths ना, it's a very blanket statement कि maths समझ में ही नहीं आता. अगर कैट के अंदर सिर्फ एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन के क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, राइट, यू विल बी एबल टू मैनेज दोस क्वेश्चंस. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू विल बी एबल टू मैनेज दोस वेल. सिमिलरली कैट के अंदर बहुत ज्यादा कैलकुलेशन क्वेश्चंस भी नहीं आते. So what you have to do is you have to understand what kind of questions appear at the CAT first of all, and then you have to design a defensive strategy for yourself. अब defensive strategy क्या है मेरे लिए? My first goal is to be able to attempt 3 questions correctly. मैं कोई भी मॉक दे रहा हूँ ना, मेरे को 3 questions उसके अंदर attempt करने आने चाहिए. Even if it means spending 5 minutes on each question or 7 minutes or 10 minutes on each question, मेरे को चलेगा. But मैं वही 3 question करूंगा जो मेरे को पक्का आते हैं, and I should get those 9 marks. That is basically where your journey will start. अब वो करने के लिए यू नीड टू हैव सम बेसिक्स इन प्लेस. नाउ व्हाट आर दोस बेसिक्स? सो एंटायरिटी ऑफ क्वांट अगर देखेंगे ब्रॉडली, अगर सिंपल टॉपिक्स निकालने हैं, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एवरेजेस, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट रेशियोस, and I'm talking about percentages. So if you know these three concepts well, you should be able to make sense of some or many of the questions that exist. उसके बाद आता है let's say algebra, जिसके अंदर I was talking about quadratic equations. तो ये अगर 3-4 टॉपिक भी ठीक से कर लोगे ना, तो भी आई एम श्योर दैट यू विल बी एबल टू मैनेज दिस. Then there are some questions जो पूरे मैकेनिकल होते हैं, and I'm pretty sure that in every test you will be able to find at least one question जो purely mechanical होता है. What kind of a question? If someone asks you what is the value of the series 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus 11 plus whatever, and you have 30 terms in this series, ये क्वेश्चन अगर आता है, या फिर थोड़ा और डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन आता है, इट्स ओके. What you can do in this context is you can use the calculator जो है, या फिर मैन्युअली बैठ के ऐड करो. 30 टर्म्स ऐड करने में how much time are you going to take? You are going to take 4 minutes, 5 minutes, na? But that guarantees you 3 marks. At least start from here. Get that score on your sheet. And एक बार वो मिल जाएगा 9, 12, 15. Once you cross that 15 का barrier, you will know automatically कि करना क्या है. Right? तो ये सब के लिए there is no better way to do it than NCERT textbooks, 10th standard textbooks, या फिर the other books that you would have got from your coaching institute, या फिर online resources, कहीं से भी refer कर सकते हो. But make sure that you start from the very basics and think about solving 3 questions. उतना कर लो, then you can think about 5, 8, 10 and so on. तो benchmark होना बहुत जरूरी है. And ये वाले questions होते हैं ना, these ones you should not miss at all. अगर 50 टर्म्स भी ऐड करने ना, sit and do it manually, चलेगा, you will get it. अगर बोला जाए कि कोई चीज के 24 कॉम्बिनेशंस लिखने हैं, परम्यूटेशंस, अरेंजमेंट्स लिखने हैं, राइट डाउन 24 अरेंजमेंट्स. इट इज डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू गिव यू द राइट आंसर, एंड यू आर एनीवे एक्सपेक्टेड टू सॉल्व 3 4 5 क्वेश्चंस. तो बहुत टाइम है तुम्हारे पास, तो डोंट वरी अबाउट. ठीक है. ओके, सो वील लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट, देन विक्टर आई विल आंसर योर क्वेश्चन. Okay, so Victor, I'll talk about silly mistakes. That is again one of my favorite topics. But we will look at it. Okay, I'll erase everything on this slide. You can just rewind and have a look at it. Okay. that is some collateral damage. Yeah, so again f of ये x plus 2 f of x plus 1 होना चाहिए. ठीक है. चलो, now that we have so many people in the chat today, let me ask you a simple question. What series is this? ओमकार नॉट रिकमेंडेड है, मतलब अलजेब्रा को स्किप करना इज डेंजरस टेरिटरी. मतलब इट्स लाइक आस्किंग मी कि अरिथमेटिक स्किप करो क्या, एंड यू हैव टाइम. ऐसा नहीं है कि कैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन 15 days फ्रॉम नाउ. यू इजीली हैव 130 odd days to go for the test. 130 days में अलजेब्रा इंप्रूव हो सकता है, दैट मच आई कैन प्रॉमिस यू. इफ यू गो विद द राइट माइंडसेट, 10 दिन बैठ के अलजेब्रा ठीक से कर लो ना, इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड टॉपिक्स वेल, यू कैन मैनेज अलजेब्रा इजीली. या एपी नहीं बोल सकते ओमकार, बिकॉज एपी में द डिफरेंस शुड बी द सेम. यहाँ पे देयर इज अ पैटर्न फॉलोड. सो अर्कोदीप तो यस, द आंसर इज फिबोनाची. सो दिस इज अ फिबोनाची सीरीज. एनी टर्म इज इक्वल टू द प्रीवियस टर्म प्लस द टर्म बिफोर दैट. ठीक है, तो फिबोनाची सीरीज. अगेन डजंट मैटर व्हाट इट इज कॉल्ड, यू जस्ट हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ऐसा कुछ है. Now we have to figure out what is f of 10 if we know that f of 11 is 91 and f of 15 is 617. तो मेरे को ये सीरीज में दो पॉइंट्स दिए गए हैं and I have to figure out what is the value of f of 10. So what we can do in this case is, because f of 10 is going to get added to f of 11 to give us f of 12, and फिर वो add होगा to give us f of 13, फिर वो add होगा to get give us f of 14, and वो add होगा to get give us f of 15. We can assume that let f of 10 be equal to some k. ठीक है, तो f of 11 जो है ना, that is 91. What will be the value of f of 12? अगर x की जगह पे मैं 10 डाल दूं, let's say, then I am going to get f of 12 is nothing but f of 10 plus f of 11. अगर मैं x equal to 10 डाल देता हूं तो, right? So f12 is nothing but the sum of the previous two terms. तो f12 बनेगा 91 plus k. f13 will be nothing but f12 plus f11 now. So 91 plus 91 will be 182 plus k again. f14 will be f13 plus f12. तो ये बनेगा, I am assuming 273 plus 2k बनेगा यहाँ पे. What about f15? f15 will be 273 plus 182, so 455 plus 3k होगा ही. बट इसका वैल्यू तो अपने को दिया हुआ है 617 है. So I can say that 3k is nothing but 617 minus 455, which will be 145 plus 17, 162, I believe. So k will be equal to 3 5s are 15, 3 4s are 12. So f of 10 ka value, that is k, that will be equal to 54, and that should be the answer. Yeah. So again, think about this. Have a look at the solution. See if you are able to understand this. बहुत easy question है. I'm sure you will be able to manage this one. So if you have any doubts with regard to this particular question, let me know in the chat. Okay. I'll show you the next question, which was apparently the toughest question of CAT 2018, I believe. Look at this one. 18 है कि 18 or 17, I believe. One of those two years. But it is apparently one of the toughest questions, जो नहीं है tough. So have a look at this one. ठीक है. Victor, how to avoid silly mistakes? चलो, I'll cover that for everyone. So silly mistakes come in a lot of different forms. ठीक है, तो silly mistake is a overarching term, right? कि हाँ कुछ तो गड़बड़ कर, बट वो कहाँ पे गड़बड़ किया, you have to understand. So what are the various aspects of problem solving? What all things do you look at? So one is reading the question, right? Reading the question, interpreting the question, right? Then solving the question, and then marking the answer. ठीक है. अब रीडिंग में अगर इश्यू है ना, सो दैट माइट बी a malaise that will point to a different thing altogether. Reading में issue है, you are reading it too fast. Why are you reading it too fast? Because you have less time left. Why do you have less time left? Because you spend a disproportionate amount of time while solving other questions. तो अगर मेरे को attempt improve करने हैं, increase करने हैं, definitely I will have to read faster, solve faster, and वहां पे there might be a situation जहां पे I might end up not giving as much attention to some questions compared to those the previous questions rather. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे अगर गड़बड़ है तो you have to understand कि मुझे फेस बहुत जल्दी करना है, क्वेश्चन सिलेक्शन इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई हैव मेड अ वीडियो ऑन हाउ टू सिलेक्ट क्वेश्चंस इन क्वांट, तो वो एक बार देख लेना, 60 to 99 परसेंटाइल वाला एक वीडियो है. सो हैव अ लुक एट दैट वीडियो, वहां पे आई हैव कवर्ड इट इन डेप्थ व्हाट यू नीड टू डू इन टर्म्स ऑफ अवॉइडिंग एरर्स और बीइंग माइंडफुल इन द एंटायर सेक्शन. एंड द अदर थिंग इज हाउ टू इंप्रूव क्वेश्चन सिलेक्शन इन क्वांट, वो वाला भी एक बार देख लेना. तो ये दोनों वीडियोस में यू विल बी एबल टू गेट एन आइडिया कि जजमेंट कैसे करना चाहिए, सो दैट यू एंड अप सॉल्विंग मोर क्वेश्चंस, यू एंड अप यूजिंग योर टाइम मोर एफिशिएंट. वन. सेकंड थिंग, इंटरप्रिटेशन. अगर इंटरप्रिटेशन में गड़बड़ है, राइट, देन द प्रॉब्लम इज कॉन्सेप्ट्स इन मोस्ट केसेस. मैंने पढ़ा कुछ, मैंने लिखा कुछ, मैंने समझा कुछ, राइट, देन दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम. तो कॉन्सेप्ट्स में इशू है. सॉल्विंग में अगर प्रॉब्लम है, यू आर सॉल्विंग इट टू क्विकली और यू आर रिलाइंग टू मच ऑन योर रॉ ब्रेन पावर टू सॉल्व दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. तो मैं दिमाग लगा के सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, अच्छा ये वहां पे जाएगा, परफेक्ट स्क्वायर बनेगा, ये इक्वल टू 2v -2v कुछ तो होगा, -1/4 आएगा, 1/2 आएगा, -3/4, -1/4 is my answer. So unless you are that good at solving this question, and these are the exact steps that are of this particular question, unless you are that good at visualizing these things, don't solve by skipping steps. ठीक है, तो वहां पे again you can save some amount of some silly mistakes वाले marks. एंड लास्ट वाला मार्किंग आंसर, सब कुछ पढ़ लिया बट क्वेश्चन का स्टेम ठीक से नहीं पढ़ा, u plus v पढ़ लिया इंस्टेड ऑफ u plus 3, then again it's a problem. So again, because you're reading very fast, because you have very less time on hand, that's why you are doing this, right? So there are two things. One is mindfulness. You should not be absent minded, you should be present in the moment. I know it's the last section, last two questions mein definitely your focus will go, but you have to be mindful, there is no alternative to that. And the second thing is you have to be very good solid in terms of conceptual clarity, तभी वो क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करना, नहीं तो डोंट गो फॉर इट. ये दो चीजें अगर करोगे, माइंडफुली करोगे, तो यू शुड बी फाइन. ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई वेयर इज इट दैट यू आर मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ दीस मिस्टेक्स एंड अटैक दैट वेरी पोर्शन. तो वहां पे अलर्ट रहना. अगर रीडिंग में हमेशा गड़बड़ कर रहे हो तो रीड आराम से पढ़ लेना, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, दो क्वेश्चन कम कर लेना, इट्स ओके, बट एटलीस्ट यू विल नॉट लूज मार्क्स ना, तो इट कंपेंसेट्स एट द एंड, राइट. तो रीडिंग में अगर इशू है तो आराम से पढ़ना, सॉल्विंग में इशू है, राइट डाउन ईच एंड एवरी स्टेप. शॉर्टकट्स आर एक्सट्रीमली ओवररेटेड, राइट डाउन ईच एंड एवरी स्टेप एंड सॉल्व इट परफेक्टली, ओके, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा लाइफ. ठीक है, सो अंडरस्टैंड वेयर इज इट दैट यू आर मेकिंग दी सिली मिस्टेक्स एंड देन अटैक दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग. ऑलराइट. Aditya, yes, I have cleared the cat. So I am a cat 100 percentiler and multiple times CET rank 1, IFT 100 percentiler and so on. I've done my MBA from FMS Delhi. So yeah, I carry some experience in terms of cracking tests. ठीक है, and I make it a point to take the tests every year. तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं. यू स्क्वायर प्लस यू माइनस 2v-1 दी होल स्क्वायर इक्वल्स -4vu प्लस v. देन व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ u प्लस 3? नाउ अगेन यू हैव टू ट्रस्ट द पेपर सेटर्स, राइट. अगर पेपर सेटर को एक क्वेश्चन बनाना है, दे विल डेफिनेटली नॉट मेक वेरी डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू, राइट. इफ दे वांट टू मेक वेरी डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस व्हिच पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू आंसर, आई विल सिंपली टेल यू ना, मेरे को एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू बताओ ऑफ 101 into 102 into 103 till 199. बैठो और कैलकुलेट करो, 40 मिनट्स बैठ के कैलकुलेट करो. हाफ द नंबर ऑफ टेस्ट टेकर्स विल नॉट इवन बी एबल टू गो बियॉन्ड 4 और 5 नंबर्स. ठीक है, तो वो पॉइंट नहीं है टेस्ट. टेस्ट का पॉइंट इज टू मेक यू सॉल्व क्वेश्चन यूजिंग सम पार्ट ऑफ योर ब्रेन. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे लेट्स सी व्हाट दिस इज. तो यू स्क्वायर है एज इट इज प्लस यू माइनस 2v माइनस 1 दी होल स्क्वायर इज नथिंग बट, अगर ब्रैकेट ओपन करते हैं तो 4uv आएगा माइनस 4v स्क्वायर आएगा यहाँ. ठीक है, नाउ यू कैन जस्ट मूव दीज टू टर्म्स टू द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. So यहाँ पे you will have u square plus 4uv plus 4v square. Now look at this part very carefully. Plus u minus 2v minus 1 the whole square equals 0. ये आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. Now what does this term remind you of? और what is this? एक u square का टर्म है, एक 4v square का टर्म है. पानी में पत्थर फेंक के देख लेते हैं what happens, right? Now u square is u square plus 4v square is nothing but 2v the whole square. और अगर मैं यहाँ पे 2 into u into 2v कर दूं तो मेरे को 4uv मिल जाएगा, which is again present here. So this tells me that the first part that I have underlined is nothing but u plus 2v the whole square. And the second part is u minus 2v minus 1 the whole square equals 0. Square of one term is always going to be a non-negative number. नेगेटिव तो हो ही नहीं सकता ये वाला पार्ट, ये वाला पार्ट भी नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता। अगर दो नॉन नेगेटिव पार्ट्स ऐड होकर जीरो बन रहे हैं, ईच ऑफ देम हैज टू बी जीरो। So u plus 2v equals 0 or u equals minus 2v, and in this case u minus 2v minus 1 will tell you that u is equal to 2v plus 1. अब जैसे भी सब्स्टिट्यूट करना है कर लो. I'll substitute the value of u here. So 2v plus 1 is minus 2v. Therefore minus 4v is equal to 1 or v equals 1 by 4. V equals 1 by 4. What will be the value of u? Minus 2 into 1 by 4. So the value of u will be minus 2 into 1 by 4 or minus 1 by 2. ऐसे कुछ तो आएगा यहाँ पे, right? So in this case, I hope I have done the calculations correctly. I have a very bad habit of messing up terms here and there. So I'll just check it once before you go to the solution so that we don't end up in random trouble, and then we should be fine. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे देख लेते एक बार what is it that we are doing. हाँ, उसको expand नहीं करना. That is exactly the point of this question. So you should not be expanding that. That is the whole idea. ठीक है? So let me look at this. हाँ, 4v is 1. I thought so. 4v is 1. So v is minus 1 by 4. U will be 1 by 2. ठीक है? So minus 4v equals 1. V is minus 1 by 4 and U is 1 by 2. Right? अब मेरे को निकालना है U plus 3v का वैल्यू. U is 1 by 2 and plus 3v. So 3 into minus 1 by 4 will be minus 3 by 4. So 1 by 2 minus 3 by 4, which is going to give us 4 minus 6. You can do, or 2 by 4 minus 3 by 4. जैसे भी करेंगे, you will get minus 1 by 4. So the correct answer is option C, that is minus 1 by 4. Saurabh, so today's video will be uploaded a bit later. So this is basically the solution. The same video gets uploaded on the portal as well in the form of a solution. So that's basically how the solutions happen. So for the previous ones, I think Saurabh, you should be able to spot the solutions as explanations to each individual video. Yeah, Saurabh. And there are no other solutions. So this is basically the solution that is there. Okay? So have a look at this one. Again, take a minute to solve this. Then we will look at this particular question. Yeah, just give me a second. Okay, looking at the questions, I think we should do an AMA soon, because a lot of you have joined after the last AMA, right? So when we did the last AMA some 3 weeks ago, I think we had some, not sure, but around 500-ish subscribers, I believe, 400, 500 subscribers. It has more or less tripled now. So I think we can do one more AMA soon for your queries. Let's see, let's do something. ठीक है, Victor, I'll look at your other question. सिंप्लीफिकेशन वाले मैक्सिमा मिनिमा क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कभी कभी. वाई से इक्वेट करना होता है, कभी डिनोमिनेटर परफेक्ट स्क्वायर बनाना, कभी न्यूमरेटर को डिनोमिनेटर के इक्वल करना, इज वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग. हाँ, बट वही ना विक्टर, वो एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आएगा. तो अगर नेगेटिव वैल्यू भी पॉसिबल है, देन यू विल हैव टू मैनिपुलेट बोथ. अगर मुझे पता है कि पॉजिटिव वैल्यू ही आना चाहिए, मैक्सिमा पूछा है लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल, तो मैक्सिमा में को नेगेटिव वैल्यूज कंसीडर ही नहीं करने हैं ना. तो मैक्सिमा के अंदर आई विल ट्राई टू मैक्सिमाइज द न्यूमरेटर, मिनिमाइज द डिनोमिनेटर. लॉजिक वही रहता है, लॉजिक कभी चेंज नहीं होगा. So whenever you are dividing something and you have numerator by denominator, how do I find the maximum value of this? मैं numerator को बढ़ाऊंगा, denominator को कम करूंगा. जनरली इंटरडिपेंडेंट होंगे. इफ यू इंक्रीज द न्यूमरेटर, द डिनोमिनेटर विल आल्सो इंक्रीज. तो वहां पे कहीं पे तो एक स्वीट स्पॉट आएगा. ठीक है. एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ द कंप्लीटिंग द स्क्वायर्स वाला पार्ट यू आर मेंशनिंग, वो जनरली मिनिमा वाले क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, क्योंकि मिनिमा के अंदर ये स्क्वायर को मैं जीरो बना दूं ना, तो भी एक एक्स्ट्रा टर्म मेरे पास बचता है. एंड दैट इज बेसिकली द प्रॉब्लम, right? So again, nothing that can't be handled, manageable, but it comes with experience. Solve 50 questions and you will get enlightenment, achieve enlightenment. ठीक है. हाँ, और that was a very common trap. मतलब honestly speaking, when I saw it for the first time, even I got into expanding terms, and then even I realized it a bit later that इसको ऐसे कर सकते हैं, completing the square से कर सकते हैं. So it's perfectly okay, it's fine. Yeah. So let's look at this one. Uh, Slightly difficult looking question. Difficult है या नहीं देख लेते हैं, but it looks difficult. X raised to 2018, X raised to 2017 are two large terms, right? Similarly, x raised to 2016, y raised to 2019, we have to find x square plus y cube. So that makes it slightly difficult. But let's see what happens. Now in this case, यहाँ पे 2018 है, 2016 है, 2017 है, 2019 है. So generally when we have equations 2x plus 3y, 2x minus 3y से जो भी है, we generally cancel out the terms ना. अब यहाँ पे because they are in the form of parts, we can try to see what happens if we divide one equation by the other. So x raised to 2018 multiplied by x raised to 2017 divided by x raised to 2016 multiplied by x raised to 2019 is 1 by 2 divided by 8. So 1 by 16 हो जाएगा. Now we can cancel out the terms. We'll get x square in the numerator. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Victor, speaking of silly mistakes, right in front of right? Y square. So this will be 1 by 16. So x square by y square is going to be 1 by 16 in this particular context, right? So I can say that x by y का जो value होगा ना वो plus or minus 1 by 4 होगा. That is what we can say in this particular context. Now x by y equal to 1 by 4 अगर करना है and we know that x square plus y cube मेरे को निकालना है, right? So that is basically what we are supposed to do here. So let's try to see what happens. यहाँ पे अगर देखेंगे x raised to 2018 है, यहाँ पे अगर देखेंगे x raised to 2016 है, it doesn't really matter. X का value, whatever is the value of x, it will always be positive because it is raised to an even power. So let's try to see, let's see what happens in this context. We are saying that I hope I'm doing the calculation correctly till now. Yeah, x by y is 1 by 4. ये यहाँ पे अपने को पता चल गया. This is fine. Right? So x by y equal to 1 by 4 लेके चलते हैं. Let's see what happens in this case. Now if x by y equal to 1 by 4, I can say that y is nothing but 4 times x. Right? So I can substitute y की जगह पे x का value in either this one or this one. तो first वाले में करके देख लेते हैं. We have x raised to 2018 multiplied by, instead of y we are putting 4x. ठीक है. So instead of y we are putting 4x, so we'll get 4x raised to 2017. Yeah, now 4 is nothing but 2 square, right? So x raised to 2018 करेंगे, multiplied by x raised to 2017 होगा, multiplied by 4 raised to 2017. ठीक है. So you are going to get x raised to 4035, yeah, multiplied by 4 raised to 2017 is equal to ये वाला part 1 by 2. राइट. नाउ दिस इज 4 रेज टू समथिंग, दिस इज 1 बाय 2, तो इसको भी 2 में कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं. यू विल गेट x रेज टू 4035 इंटू 2 रेज टू 4034, 2 स्क्वायर हो जाएगा. सो 2017 इंटू 2 इक्वल्स 1 बाय 2. So you are going to get x raised to 4035 equals 1 by 2 raised to 4035, right? You can also write this as 1 by 2 the whole raised to 4035 because 1 raised to 4035 is 1 itself. So x raised to 4035, 1 by 2 raised to 4035, we can safely say that x is nothing but half. अगर x half आ जाता है, so y is 4 into half or y is 2. So x square will be 1 by 4, y cube will be 8, your answer will be 33 by 4. So the correct answer is option, or correct option is option D. Correct answer is option D. Divide both. Yes, Victor. Correct. Yeah. सो अगेन यहाँ पे सेम थिंग्स विल कीप ऑन हैपनिंग. यू हैव टू टेक दैट लीप ऑफ फेथ. मतलब क्वेश्चन का सॉल्यूशन कहीं से स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा. एंड इन मोस्ट केसेस इफ यू आर लाइक गुड एट द सब्जेक्ट, देन योर इंस्टिंक्ट्स विल टेक ओवर. So as soon as I see this question, I will not even think about adding things. I'll always think about dividing things and trying to see what exactly fits where. Right? So वही करने की कोशिश करेंगे and then you will be able to manage this well. So that is what I will be interested in if I see this kind of a question. All right, I hope this makes sense to you. I'll show the next question. And this is again something that all of us have seen this question somewhere. So CAT also lifts questions from here and there. मतलब नॉट हियर एंड देयर, फ्रॉम कैट इटसेल्फ, ऐसे भी हो सकता है। ठीक है, सो हैव अ लुक एट दिस वन, देन वी विल सी हाउ वी कैन सॉल्व दिस इन अ बेटर मैनर. I got a nice set of questions from Mayuresh Thite yesterday on one of the videos. I haven't replied, I'll reply, but this is mostly got to do with VARs. So let's see. All right, let's look at this one. ये question देखा already हम लोगों ने. We have already solved this. We have completely solved this question. So we will not spend a lot of time on this one. Here we have to find what is the minimum possible value of f of x. So f of x का minimum value क्या है? That has been asked. We had seen something similar here. F of x was minimum of 2x square 52 minus 5x. Maximum possible value of f of x कितना होगा ये पूछा था. Right? Now f of x was minimum of this. Now if you look at this, f of x is maximum of these two. And maximum का मेरे को minimum value निकालना है. So it's exactly similar to what had happened यहाँ पे. So I'll use a different color and I'll try to show you what the maximum value of इसका maximum का minima क्या दिखेगा. तो maximum का minima क्या होगा. Now maximum मतलब मेरे को दोनों में से जो बड़ा नंबर है वो पिक करना है. If I say max of these two, so I'm basically looking at selecting these numbers and I'm looking at selecting these numbers, right? तो ये सब numbers जो होंगे ना ये maximum होंगे between the two of them. Right, so those will be the maximum or the larger ones of the two things that are there in this bracket. Again I have to find कि भाई क्या होगा यहाँ पे maximum minimum possible value of the maximum, ये पूछा गया है. तो exactly same process करना है. We have to equate these two and then substitute. So let's see what happens. Again we'll do the same thing. 5x will be equal to 52 minus 2x square. 2x square minus 52, 2x square plus 5x minus 52. 2x square plus 5x minus 52 equals 0. Again, product minus 104, or this thing will be sum will be 5. So again, we can do the same thing. 2x square plus 13x minus 8x minus 52 equal to 0. Same thing that we had done. We will get two values, x into 2x plus 13. Chalo, for the benefit of everyone, 4 into 2x plus 13 equal to 0 आएगा. ठीक है, so you will get x minus 4 into 2x plus 13 equal to 0. x equal to 4 will be the positive real number का value. x equal to 4 को यहाँ पे substitute कर देंगे. तो 5 into 4 will be 20 and 52 minus 2x square, यहाँ पे x की जगह पे 4 डालोगे, 16 2 जा 32, again you will get 20 as the answer. Right, so यहाँ पे x equal to 4 पे you will get the minimum possible value of the maximum. अब ये क्वेश्चन और वो क्वेश्चन में सिर्फ बहुत ही बेसिक डिफरेंस था. यू आर द फंक्शन टोल्ड यू कि भाई ये दोनों लाइन में से जो भी बड़ा नंबर है ना वो मेरे को पिक करना है. दैट वाज द फंक्शन एंड यू हैव टू फिगर आउट द स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर दैट दिस फंक्शन विल पिक. वो था. यहाँ पे if you look at the terms, ये 5x और 52 minus 2x square हो गया. तो it was exactly similar to what we had done earlier. Just that यहाँ पे मेरे को minimum value निकालना है, whatever was there. Right, so that was the only difference. Otherwise, for all practical purposes, you can equate the two and figure it out. Equate क्यों करना है, अगर दिमाग में doubt आ रहा है, तो that is why you equate, because then you are looking at the graph का intersection, right? And if you haven't checked out the graphs video, do that. I think it will be much more clearer once you go through that session, क्योंकि वहां पे काफी extensively graphs को cover किया गया था. ठीक है, I think we have 3 more questions to go. Yeah, 3 more questions to go. So have a look at this one. The smallest integer n such that n cube minus 11n square plus 32n minus 28 is greater than 0 is what? Yeah. So that is the keyword here, instinct. Victor, we are live from Monday to Friday. So every day this will be given to you in the form of a test. तो कल का टेस्ट जो है ना वो आज रात को tonight at 10 o'clock or so the test gets released. You can take the test at any point in time. मतलब you can take it till the cat as well. कोई problem नहीं है. But it's recommended that you take it during the day, and the same day in the evening I'll come and sit for the session. So 8 o'clock को every day I come live. And 8 to 9, 9:15 तक we generally are live with this session. All right. So यहाँ पे I was talking about instinct. Now you have to understand यहाँ पे instinct कहाँ से आ गया. So one thing you have to establish friendliness with numbers. So when I saw this question for the first time, I'll tell you what I did. ठीक है, complicated method है, but I did something. मैंने बोला कि भाई ये 28 है ना, ये 28 is nothing but product of terms, product of roots rather. ये 11 जो है ना, that is the sum of roots. I need to find three numbers जिनका प्रोडक्ट होता है -28 और जिनका सम होता है 11. और 28 एंड 11 पकड़ लो, चलो माइनस भी भूल जाओ. आई नीड थ्री नंबर्स, द यस आर को देखो, whose product is 28 and whose sum is 11, right? So in this particular case what I am saying is, अगर मैं इसको 7 to 2 में स्प्लिट करता हूं, 7 plus 2 11 हो जाएगा. This is also fine, right? So sum of the roots has to be equal to 11, the product of the roots has to be equal to -20 or 28, जैसे मतलब I don't know what the signs are, but I'm just saying 7 to 2 and 11 देके देख लेते हैं. नाउ इसका टेस्ट कैसे करेंगे हम? वी विल लुक एट दिस वन. सो अगर मेरे को पता है कि क्यूबिक के अंदर मैं कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ एक्स ले रहा हूं, सो लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव ax स्क्वायर ax क्यूब प्लस bx स्क्वायर प्लस cx प्लस d, ये मेरे पास क्यूबिक है. एंड इफ आई इक्वेट इट टू जीरो, देन व्हाट विल हैपन? आई विल बी एबल टू से दैट द सम ऑफ रूट्स, ठीक है, एंड द रूट्स लेट्स से आर अल्फा बीटा एंड गामा. सम ऑफ रूट्स जो है ना, दैट विल बी माइनस बी बाय ए, ये मेरे को पता है. प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द रूट्स टेकन टू एट अ टाइम, प्रोडक्ट ऑफ रूट्स टू एट अ टाइम. टू एट अ टाइम मतलब क्या हो गया? अल्फा इंटू बीटा, दो रूट ले लिया मैंने, प्लस अल्फा इंटू गामा प्लस बीटा इंटू गामा. इसका वैल्यू क्या आएगा? सी बाय ए. एंड व्हाट अबाउट प्रोडक्ट ऑफ ऑल द रूट्स, ऑल थ्री रूट्स, अल्फा इंटू बीटा इंटू गामा, इसका वैल्यू क्या आएगा? माइनस डी बाय ए, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट एग्जिस्ट्स रूटीनली. तो अगर मेरे को ये पता है सम ऑफ रूट्स माइनस बी बाय ए, तो मैं बोल रहा हूं कि भाई सम ऑफ रूट्स जो है ना इन दिस केस दैट इज 11. मैं बोलूंगा प्रोडक्ट ऑफ रूट्स, दैट विल बी माइनस b by a, सो अगेन 28. सो प्रोडक्ट 28 होना चाहिए, सम 11 होना चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. हाउ डू आई वेरीफाई दिस? इफ दिस थिंग मैचेस, देन आई एम सॉर्टेड. यही मेरा आंसर है. दैट इज वन वे ऑफ थिंकिंग अबाउट इट. दैट्स हाउ आई डिड इट. 7 2s are 14, 7 2s are 14 again, 2 2s are 4, 28 plus 4 32. Bingo, I got my answer. I know that the roots are 7 2 2. तो स्मॉलेस्ट इंटीजर दैट सैटिस्फाइज ग्रेटर देन जीरो क्या होगा? 72 अगर मेरे रूट्स हैं, सो आई एम बेसिकली सेइंग दैट 7 के आगे जो भी होगा वहां पे मेरा काम निकल जाएगा इन अ वे, और 2 से कम होगा वहां पे मेरा काम निकल जाएगा. बट आई एटलीस्ट नो दैट आई शुड लुक एट 7 2 2 एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, राइट? सो दैट इज बेसिकली वेयर योर इंस्टिंक्ट टेक्स ओवर. अगर लेट्स से मेरे पास नहीं है इंस्टिंक्ट, राइट, ना ही मेरे को क्यूबिक फैक्टराइज करने आता है यूजिंग दिस मेथड्स, व्हाट विल आई डू? व्हेनेवर यू गेट समथिंग लाइक दिस, पुट n इक्वल टू जीरो. सबसे पहला स्टेप, n इक्वल टू जीरो. n इक्वल टू जीरो में क्या होगा? n क्यूब जीरो, ये जीरो, ये जीरो, -28. -28 ग्रेटर देन जीरो है क्या? नहीं है ना. -28 इज नॉट ग्रेटर देन जीरो. सो इफ आई पुट n इक्वल टू जीरो, देन दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. ठीक है, अगर n इक्वल टू जीरो डालता हूं तो नॉट. इन अदर वर्ड्स व्हाट यू कैन से इज, अगर मैं n इक्वल टू जीरो डालता हूं, ये एक्सप्रेशन का वैल्यू बिकम्स -28. दिस इज द वैल्यू ऑफ द एक्सप्रेशन जो -28 है. लेट्स से मैं n इक्वल टू 1 डालता हूं. 1 cube is 1, 1 minus 11 is minus 10, minus 10 plus 32 is plus 22, plus 22 minus 28 is what? Minus 6. Again, this is not greater than 0. But you can see something happening here. Minus 28 से minus 6 पे आ गया है, मतलब it is increasing. अगर n equal to 2 डाल देते हैं, so I'll keep on doing this till the time I cross that 0 or hit that 0. ये मेरा objective है. Because as soon as it hits a 0, वो होगा मेरा root. n equal to 2 में 2 cube is 8, 2 square is 4, into 11 is minus 44, 32 into 2 is 64, minus 20. 8 minus 44 बनेगा minus 36, minus 36 plus 64 is 28, minus 28 is 0. तो ये तो पक्का 0 हो गया. सो 2 के आगे वो पॉजिटिव होना शुरू हो जाएगा, इज द पॉइंट. -28 है, देन -6 है, देन पॉजिटिव होना चालू हो गया, राइट? बट पॉजिटिव होना चालू होगा कि नहीं होगा, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. n इक्वल टू 3 पे देख के भी वी कैन क्लोज इट. बट आई नो, व्हाट डू आई नो? n इक्वल टू 2 पे 0 है, which means n minus 2 is a factor of this. So I know for sure that n minus 2 is a factor of this particular expression. अब जैसे ही मेरे को n-2 फैक्टर मिल जाता है ना, आई कैन डिवाइड इट एंड ट्राई टू फिगर आउट व्हाट हैपेंस टू द रिमेनिंग पार्ट. ठीक है, आई जस्ट रिमूव दीज थिंग्स so that I have more space to write. बट जैसे ही मेरे को n-2 पता चलता है फैक्टर है करके, आई एम मोर और लेस सॉर्टेड इन लाइफ. तो अब उसको करना है तो यू कैन ईदर डू लॉन्ग डिवीजन और यू कैन डू सिंथेटिक डिवीजन. ईदर ऑफ दोस टू मेथड्स इज ओके. सो या सिंथेटिक डिवीजन कर लेते हैं. चलो लेट्स ट्राई इट. 1 -11 32 एंड -20. ठीक है, एंड दिस इज बेसिकली हाउ यू कैन डू सिंथेटिक डिवीजन, राइट. सो यहाँ पे अगेन यू कैन टेक 1 एज इट इज, 2 यहाँ पे चला जाएगा, 11-2 -9 -18 14 28 एंड 0. ये बन जाएगा. व्हाट डज दिस मीन? इफ आई डिवाइड दिस क्यूबिक बाय n-2, आई एम गोइंग टू गेट n स्क्वायर -9n प्लस 14 इंटू n-2. ये उसका फैक्टराइजेशन होगा. Now I need to split 14 into two terms जिनका sum is -9. So -7 और -2 हो गया. So n-7, n-2, n-2 greater than 0. Correct, Arkoditto? You can check it using wavy curve as well. And wavy curve again, if you want to have a look at, for all those who of you who missed that session, wavy curve अगर समझना है, look at the last 15-20 minutes of the function of the graph and modulus वाला session. उसके अंदर exactly ये वाला चीज cover किया गया है. So have a look at it and you will be able to manage this. ठीक है. So ये greater than 0 होना चाहिए. Now if you know the wavy curve वाला method, it's much easier for you. If n is a very large number, it will come from here. So मेरे roots हैं 2 and 7. It will come from here. 7 ka power is odd. It will cross over. It will touch 2 and then it will fall back because n-2 ka power is even. This is n-7 into n-2 the whole square. तो ये even power है तो same side पे रहेगा. Odd power है तो cross over करेगा. If you haven't watched that video, watch that video. Smallest integer n such that this becomes positive should be to the right of 7. अब 7 के बाद का सबसे छोटा integer क्या है? 8 है. That's my answer. Right? So how you arrive at n-2, n-2, n-7 is one story. Once you arrive at that number, फिर क्या करते हो? That is another story. So wavy curve works really well in this case. अगर wavy curve method पता है, you are doing amazingly well. If you don't know it, have a look at it. Have a look at the video that we had done. It's a very nice video. Last में ये wavy curve ये जो बोला है ना, ये पूरा step by step I've explained it there. So have a look at it. I'm sure you will benefit from that. That part. ठीक है. Sure. I'll show you the next one. Last two questions. So this is one, and there is one more. Victor, yeah, I remember that interview. Of course, I remember that interview. One of the highlights of my life. But I would not recommend anybody to watch that interview because I was a different individual back then, and it might have come across as slightly annoying or arrogant, right? But then again, I had my reasons. Uh, but yeah, that was what 2012, so 12 years back. So, 12 years older, 12 years wiser. Hopefully, that's how it is. This is again a very nice question, by the way. It's a very, very nice question. Again, something that we have discussed the other day. So when I was doing that session, I don't know if a lot of people appreciated the applications of that particular session. But this is exactly what we had discussed back then. Greater than zero. It's always greater than zero. Uh, when is it greater than zero? So what happens to the curve if it is greater than zero? So the curve will look something like this. If this is the ये ऐसे कुछ something like this. It will not touch the x-axis at all. If it is greater than or equal to zero, so it cannot be less than zero. तो ऐसे होगा curve. And if less than zero is also a possibility, okay, sorry, less than zero is also a possibility, then it will look something like this. तो ये तीनों के बीच का difference क्या है? That is basically this question. So conceptually, if you are on solid ground, I think you will be able to manage this well. Correct. And that is your discriminant. So अगर delta less than zero, when we say ना, we basically say that there are no real roots. So when I say no real roots, it basically means it will not cut the x-axis at all. When I say equal roots, it means that it will touch the x-axis at exactly one point. And when I say it has distinct real roots, it will cut the x-axis at 2 points. So these are the three different curves that exist. right? So in the first case, this curve will never touch the x-axis. That is what has been told to us because it is always greater than 0. So 2x square minus ax plus 2 का कुछ भी value ले लो, it will always be greater than 0. When will it be always greater than 0? यहाँ पे it will always be greater than 0. When will it always be greater than 0? When the discriminant delta or d as it is called is less than 0. Delta is nothing but b square minus 4ac. B square minus 4ac अगर less than 0 होगा ना, definitely we'll have no real roots, meaning the curve will never touch the x-axis. अब यहाँ पे b square, unfortunately this is a, तो ये बन जाएगा a square minus 4 into a into c. 4 into 2, 8 into 2, 16. A square minus 16 should be less than 0. A square should be less than 16. That is what we know. A square has to be less than 16, which means that a has to be less than 4 and greater than minus 4. ये होना चाहिए. Right? So A has to be between 4 and minus 4. I think it is greater than or equal to, if I remember correctly. So there could be a typo. Let me just check it once. Uh, if it's not, then I'm fine. I'll just check once with the test. No, fair enough. It is greater than 0. Doesn't matter. We are looking at borderline cases. So it is greater than 0. So this is fine. And the second one, again, we have to do the same thing, greater than or equal to 0, which means that it will never be negative. So maximum ये हो सकता है. So we will know in this case that b square minus 4ac, sorry, b square minus 4ac will be equal to 0. Or b square will be equal to 4ac. Here, thankfully, b is b. So b square as it is, 4 into a into c, 4 into 1 into 8, you will get 32. Right? Greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So b square is greater than or equal to 32. So b will be between or b will be either greater than root 32 or this thing minus ये से होगा root 32 से बड़ा. So b will be either less than minus root 32, less than or equal to, and b will be greater than or equal to root of 32. तो ये दो केसेस होंगे बेसिकली. ठीक है, या तो b will be greater than or equal to root 32 या तो b will be less than or equal to root of minus 32. तो ये होगा यार. So we have to figure out what is the largest possible value of 2a minus 6b that has been asked, right? And we know that a and b are integers. So a and b integers अपने को पता है. Now b can take what all integral values. 32 root से it should be greater than, right? It should be between 32 का this thing and all. So in this case, what are we looking at? We are looking at values such as minus 6b दिया हुआ है, ठीक है. So we are looking at my root 32 कितना आ गया 5 6 के अंदर आ गया, right? So minus 5 minus 4 minus 3 minus 2 minus 1 0 and 1 2 3 4 5 ये सब हमारे पास b के वैल्यूज आ जाते हैं. And in terms of a के values we have minus 4 और 4 के बीच में. So we have minus 3 minus 2 minus 1 0 1 2 and 3. ये सारे values we are going to get in this particular case. Now we have to figure out what exactly happens in terms of the largest possible value of 2a minus 6b. So a should be as positive as possible, b should be as negative as possible. तो हमारा काम यहाँ पे निकल जाएगा. a का largest positive value is 3, so 2 3s are 6 आ जाएगा. And minus 6 into b का largest negative value मतलब magnitude wise is minus 5. So you'll get this. So you'll get 6 plus 30, that is 36. So I think that is the answer. Yeah, 36 is the correct answer to this one. Let's see. Correct answer. So minus 5 to 5 and 36 is the answer. Yes, perfect. That will be the answer to this one. Oh, sorry, this should be less than or equal. I'm so sorry. Why should this be less than or equal to 0? Because ये वाले केस के अंदर ना equal roots हैं. So या तो it will touch at exactly one point or it will not touch at all. That is the interpretation. It will definitely not cut at 2 points. So when it is equal to 0, so there will be exactly one point where it will touch. And if it is less than 0, then it will be pushed upwards. So b square should be less than or equal to 32. So b will be less than or equal to root 32 and greater than or equal to minus root 30. ऐसे कुछ. ठीक है? So that's why you have minus 5 to this. Alright. Last question देख लेते हैं for the day. The product of the distinct roots of x square minus x minus 6 का modulus equals x plus 2 is what? Last question for the day. Have a look at it. All right, let's have a look at this one quickly, and we should be able to manage this. This is not that difficult, right? So in this context, product of distinct roots of x square minus x minus 6 equals x plus 2. तो इसको अगर फैक्टराइज करेंगे, वी नीड टू नंबर्स जिनका प्रोडक्ट इज -6 एंड जिनका सम इज -1. प्रोडक्ट इज -6, सम इज -1, so you will have x minus 3 into x plus 2. ठीक है, this is equal to x plus 2. 4 minus 2 and 2 should be 3. Yeah. So let's look at this. So x minus 3 into x plus 2 should be equal to x plus 2. Now one thing we can do is we can cancel out x plus 2. If x plus 2 is not equal to 0, then we will be able to cancel out these two terms. ठीक है, तो दो चीजें कर लेते हैं इसके अंदर. तो I'll just add one more step to this so that it is clearer. So x minus 3 into x plus 2 will be either equal to x plus 2 or it will be equal to minus of x plus 2. क्योंकि मॉडुलस निकाल दिया, it will be plus or minus, right? So in this case, if x plus 2 is not equal to 0, then x minus 3 will be equal to 1. दोनों कैंसिल कर देंगे. x will be equal to 4. ठीक है, if x minus x plus 2 is not equal to 0, so I can cancel out these two terms and I'm going to get x equal to 4. If x equal to minus 2, अगर x equal to -2 है, x plus 2 equal to 0 है, if x plus 2 equals 0, then we'll not be able to cancel it out, but it will still be true, na? Because 0 into something will be 0 into something. So x can also be equal to -2. ये मेरे को मिल जाएगा. The third thing that we can do here is, अगर ये minus of x plus 2, then what will happen? I cancel these two terms out. I'll get x minus 3 equal to, again, the logic remains, right? X plus 2 is not equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0. X plus 2 not equal to 0 है, यहाँ पे हमने तो 0 वाला केस ले लिया है. So if it is not equal to 0, again we can cancel out these terms. We'll get x minus 3 equal to -1 or x is equal to 2 मिल जाएगा. So now we have these three roots that we have, 2, -2 and 4. So 2, -2 and 4 वाले जो हमारे तीन roots होंगे, so we'll just have to multiply them and our answer will be -2 into 2 into 4 to the 8 to the 16 minus 16. Option A should be the answer. Yeah. So Arkodik, to yes, your answer was right. Okay. So that basically was the last question for the day. And again, I hope you understood इसमें plus or minus क्यों क्या, because modulus जैसे ही निकाल देंगे, you will have plus or minus, both signs possible. So either x plus 2 is positive or x plus 2 is negative. You can also say बाजू वाला term was positive or negative, but it's the same thing, right? So modulus निकाल दिया, तो we got one positive incident, the other positive incidents. And यहाँ पे if you just manipulate the terms a bit, you cannot cancel out x plus 2 blindly, because अगर इसको सीधा cancel कर दोगे ना, there will be a problem. If it is equal, you can't cancel out zeros. नहीं तो you can always say 0 into 4 equals 0 into 5. मैंने कैंसिल कर दिया 4 = 5 एंड देन कल से बंद हो जाएगा। ठीक है, सो दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स विल नॉट वर्क, दैट्स व्हाई यू कैन नॉट कैंसिल आउट जीरो फ्रॉम बोथ साइड्स। एंड सो x प्लस टू नॉट इक्वल टू जीरो विल गिव यू x इक्वल टू, एंड अगर जीरो है तो फिर गुड, एंड दूसरे वाले केस में जीरो है तो फिर अगेन वी हैव ऑलरेडी अकाउंटेड फॉर इट, एंड यहाँ पे ये हो जाएगा। Also, you have to understand there will be three solutions because x square है और x है, तो ये more or less you can say because of modulus you are splitting it into two parts. That's why you will get more than two roots. That is basically the idea. ठीक है? So that was the last one. I don't think there are any questions as such. No, nothing in the chat that indicates something. So I think we'll close the session now. Thank you everyone for turning up. I'll just tell you what tomorrow's session is. Just give me a second. Tomorrow again we'll have a daily drill, and some of you will be having a holiday, I believe, tomorrow. So do turn up for the session. And tomorrow's session is going to be. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, tomorrow I think is RC. Alright, so tomorrow's session will be on reading comprehension. I believe the session should be live on your portal in another hour or so. So at any point in time tomorrow, you can take the session once and see what is it that you are able to do and just solve it, right? And then we'll meet again in the evening, and then we will see what can be done with those solutions. Okay, so I'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure that you turn up for the session at 8. We'll be having, I think, two passages tomorrow that we will be solving. So let's solve them together and try to get better. All right. And meanwhile, a couple of things. One, I spoke about the video initially. Whether you should be joining an institute or should be doing self preparation, what the concise way may I have tried to cover it for you. So if anybody is confused, you can have a look at it. And there is a special session on Sunday that is going to happen. We will share the details in a couple of days, but I'm sure it is going to be very interesting for all of you, and of course enriching for all of you. That is what we try to do. So I'm sure you will benefit from that. That notification is out, by the way. Registration has started. It's not necessary that you register right now. You can register after CAT as well. But if you are absolutely sure कि that देना है and you want to do it and get done with it, you can have a look at the registration video that I have again shot yesterday. So have a look at it. उसमें step by step everything has been mentioned. ठीक है? If you are liking our content, of course, do give us a like, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, and let people know that we exist. And I'm sure that we'll be able to reach out to a lot more people. All right. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you everyone for turning up, and have a great evening ahead of you and a great day tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8.